Am I supposed to keep the toilet seat down for girls? When I take a piss, I lift the toilet seat up so no piss gets on it. I had a girl over yesterday at my apartment and she went to use the bathroom. The second she goes in, she calls me in there and starts telling me off for not putting the toilet seat down for her. Her logic is that when she goes to sit down, she'll sit on the rim instead of the actual seat because it was lifted up when I used it last and I hadn't put it back down. It seems incredibly obvious to me that before you piss, you look to see if the toilet seat is up or down. If you need it down, you put it down. If you need it up, you put it up. I thought this is what everyone does, but apparently not. Close the lid before you flush. A toilet at rest is in the closed position. This is more pleasant for all guests. I believe it's more hygienic as well. You're supposed to close the toilet lid before you flush for hygiene reasons. Just close the whole thing. And of course wipe whatever is necessary. Okay. So I'm a guy who have been pissing pretty much 99 of all my toilet visits. I used to think just like you. I thought that it was the sitter's responsibility. Then it happened. It was the middle of the night, and I needed to piss. I shuffled on over to the bathroom in the dark and sat down to piss, not knowing that my boyfriend had been the last to use it that evening. The feeling of being abruptly woken up from my half-sleeping state by falling ass first into the wet, cold, porcelain embrace of a toilet with the lid up. It changed me. I suddenly understood the wives of every sitcom from my childhood. Everyone should be lifting and closing. The only difference between men and women when using the toilet is you grab the seat with the lid and we it. The amount of work is exactly the same and the lid should be shut before you flush regardless. To minimize airborne fecal bacteria, close the lid before flushing. So, the seat and the lid are always down when you leave the bathroom. Close the lid when you flush. That's why it's there. Otherwise you're just bathing your bathroom in aerosolized toilet water and whatever you just put in it. Info: do you want women to visit you more than once? The lid and cover should be down and closed unless in use, at which point the user moves it to their required position, does what they need to do, closes it, then flushes. Do not flush with it open. It spits everywhere. You just can't see it. The lid should always be down if you're not using it, just for hygienic reasons alone. Come on, people. It's seen as good manners. But really you should just close the lid when flushing. If the girl was someone you are trying to date, leaving the seat up gives away your lack of experience with women, which can be unattractive for some. So maybe think it through if this is the hill you want to die on. At the end of the day, it's your house so you can do what you like. Common sense is for her to look first, although I've sat on the cold rim by mistake before and it's pretty nasty. And I don't think it's right her kicking off at you when it's your home. That being said, I always close the full lid before flushing as nobody wants poop particles on their face or toothbrush. I think people should always keep the lid down after using the toilet. Everyone benefits with the seat down. Man, woman, kid, non-binary. No one likes to scramble into the bathroom to sit down and get dunked. The top lid of a toilet should always be closed when toilet is not in use. Everyone should close the top. When you finish going to the loo, regardless of gender, you should close the lid pre-flush. Hygiene. Though I lived in a house with 8 ppl and it was just a lost cause at that point since literally no one remembers. Meh. Just for sanitary purposes, I would close the lid every time you flush. But coming from a woman who's sat on the toilet rim a billion times with my forgetful ass, it is very annoying and gross to sit on the freaking toilet rim. But That's my problem because I didn't look at the toilet before I just plopped down. Not the fault of the person who left the toilet seat up. Necessarily. And it was in your space where you live alone, I assume. So it's not really fair for her to come in and just berate you like that over it. Woman shrugging. Everyone knows if you live with a woman to close the lid. But Op said he had company over. If a man lives alone, why should he be obligated to close the lid? If you're not flushing piss, particulate isn't going everywhere. It's your home, do whatever you want. Shut the lid, both of you. End of discussion. If you leave the seat and lid down, anything you drop in the bathroom definitely won't go into the toilet bowl. Plus hygiene. So yeah, you really should leave the seat and lid in the down position when the toilet is not in use. Just keep the lid closed. Equality for all. If you are living with a woman, be considerate and put the lid down. But if she is an invited guest and started to berate me, I would show her how I close the lid, aka front door, as she is walking out the door. Close the lid before you flush if you don't want shit embedded in your toothbrush. The toilet lid should be closed completely, then flushed so splashback doesn't occur. You seem to have a lot of problems with women you have over. Dude. You're supposed to close the lid before you flush so particles of urine and feces isn't whirled through the air. When that's said, I cannot imagine how much of a high-maintenance drama queen you need to be to turn this into an argument the first time you visit someone. Like, you can literally just do it yourself. And just mention it afterwards instead of turning it into some production. Sounds childish. It's idiotic not to look at a toilet before sitting on it. Both to check the position of the seat and to look for rats and snakes. Close the lid when you flush to avoid spray going up, and it solves both the problem and keeps things more sanitary. It's an outdated and sexist practice. I will have to lift it up after her and she will have to put it down after me. That's 50-50. That's equality. Also, who isn't checking before they sit down? That's ridiculous. If you don't check before you sit down, then you have to accept the consequences of trying to save 3 seconds. Not closing the lid before flushing is disgusting. A toilet should be left in its normal state, the state that everyone, regardless of gender, will be using it. Males do use it with the seat down some of the time, and females use it that way all the time. Put the seat down. Also, the toilet looks bad when the seat is up and the underside may have visible splashback spots. Yuck. Lid should be closed before flushing. If it's your toilet, do whatever you want, man. If it's yours and your male roommates come to a consensus. If it's you and your wife, don't die on this hill. At least you lifted it first. It would be nice, I guess, but I see no reason for telling you that tears of joy. I'm with you. I was the one who put the toilet seat up and leave it. So I thought it's up to the next person to have it up or down. But after seeing opinions here, I need to adjust my habit. I knew not closing toilet seat would affect you in a bad way. But I always forgot. You're supposed to close the entire thing when you're done. Who didn't teach you this? Everyone closes the seat. Zero argument. It is literally equal responsibility. Men need it up and down. Women need it down. And it's a waste receptacle for shit and piss. So keep it down. Close the lid before you flush. Do you want germs everywhere?